Is there a link between what we eat and how we relate with the people around us?
Most definitely. There is a very big link between what food you eat and how you relate with those around you.
Leadership comes with a lot of pressure. Pressure from the weight of responsibility on our shoulders. And truthfully, leaders are almost always busy. Busy changing lives, busy making the world a better place, busy getting things done. And many times we don't have time for the things that matter. Things like our health and the food that we eat. We are too busy and junk comes in handy. We don't have enough rest and a coffee comes in handy. But what if, just what if, how we eat and what we eat affects how we lead? Today, I am joined by a nutritionist, Ivan Philip Baguma, to share, among many things, how food and what we eat affects how we lead. You're welcome, Ivan.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you on the channel. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and then we'll delve into the discussion.
All right. Is that now?
Yes, that's now.
All right. My name is Ivan Philip Baguma. I'm a dietitian, a registered nutritionist. Yes. I bring in harmony using food. People will use drugs, injections. I'll just use food. So I'll use food as your medicine to help you deal with stress-related challenges, weight management, whether loss or gain. It could be high blood pressure, high blood sugar, that's diabetes. Anything to do with your, maybe say cancer, autoimmunity, gut restoration, corporate wellness, the healthy meals. These are all interventions that will help you to live well and feel well. I am currently the managing director of the Amicable Nutritionist Company, where we bring people in harmony using food. We provide healthy meals. We provide corporate wellness services, whereby we help companies to take care of their people. We make sure that we provide healthy living talks and well-being. We also help support people's well-being. Say if it's stress management, cognitive function enhancement, whatever you might name that is medical or emotional, but using food as medicine. That's what I can say in a nutshell. Maybe I can also add that I was nominated and I won the most innovative nutrition champion.
Oh, nice.
In the Nutrition Society of Uganda. And I also am an executive member of the Allied Nutrition Association of Uganda.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Ivan. It's nice to have such a knowledgeable and experienced person today to share with us how leadership is affected by food or maybe vice versa. So I'm going to just share a few questions and then you will tell me if they're true, if they're false, or maybe, and then maybe explain why it's true or false. And then we'll get into the gist of the discussion, how food is affecting leadership or vice versa. I don't imagine that leadership affects food, but we never know. You are the expert here today. Question number one, or statement number one: food, nutrition, or actually proper nutrition affects how you sleep, how long you sleep for, how well you sleep, and how rested you feel after sleep.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true because, one, if you eat a very heavy meal before you go to bed, there are three things that could happen to you. One, you'll feel uncomfortable because your stomach is distended. That's one. Two, if there's a lot of sugar in your meal, maybe it's a high glucose meal, you'll find that when you wake up in the morning, you'll still be feeling tired and fatigued. The third thing is that if you eat too close to bedtime, the chances are so high that you might have a reflux of that gastro fluid that would lead to a gastroesophageal reflux disease. Just call it GERD. Yeah, which people like to call belching or heartburn, no? In simple terms. That's what it leads to. So it does affect. So what you eat will affect those things about your sleep. There are certain very vital nutrients in your meals. If you do not have them, you will have trouble sleeping. One of those nutrients is the B vitamins. If you have low B vitamins, you'll be very irritable and be restless. So it makes it difficult for you to sleep well. There are also the hormones that are used to make your sleep hormones, to make you feel relaxed, also have their precursors in food. So if you have low tryptophan, let's say, which is usually got from maize and other grains, you will not feel very rested or well. Those are usually building blocks for different hormones that make you relax and make you sleep well.
Okay.
I could go on and on about this, but another important thing is hydration. Drinking plenty of water also would help you to sleep better. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned something about maize. And I remember that when we were in school, right after lunch, we would be sleeping.
Yes.
So was that hormone that you have mentioned, whose name I do not remember, at work?
That time it was most likely something different.
Yes.
Because you find that at school, what we ate was posho and not maize. So the maize wouldn't have caused us to become sleepy after lunch, but the posho or ugali will do that.
Okay.
Why? Because it's refined.
Okay, yes.
It's highly refined. It means that it will give you a sugar spike in your blood after you eat it. When that happens, you find that your body compensates to try to lower the blood sugar.
So it takes you to
When
sleep.
it does that, it takes that much lower than it should. So you find that you become sleepy right after having a highly refined meal. Yes? Wow. The other thing is that if the food was a lot and you overate, even if you can even watch the animals in the wild, they overeat, they just sleep where they are. Usually it's because now the stomach has a high load of work. To break down food and digest it, you need energy. So the energy will be diverted there. The blood circulation will be diverted there. Everything about you will go to the stomach, ideally. So the rest will have less energy to think, to focus, and concentrate.
Wow. Okay, this is huge. But moving on to the next. Does proper nutrition affect your mental health?
Very much so. Nutrition and mental health go hand in hand. You cannot ignore your nutrition if you're dealing with mental well-being. Firstly, for you to actually think and concentrate, there are certain nutrients that are required for that. Things like choline. Don't cram these things. Just know they exist. Yes? There are various nutrients in food that you'll get from food that will help you think better. They are building blocks for those neurotransmitters, those that fire signals to tell you, now do this, now do that, now relax, now do. So all those things are connected to your food. So you find if you have a deficient diet, you are very prone to things like depression. That's if you have a very refined and ultra-processed diet. However, if you eat whole foods, the fruits and vegetables, you have a better process in your body to be able to be cognizant, to think properly, to quickly make decisions, to be able to have a good mood. So the two things are interlocked. There are also foods that actually boost your mood. You've seen people reach out for dark chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah? Of course, this is an excuse for eating a lot of chocolate. However, dark chocolate is good. It's because it has a high percentage of cocoa. So the cocoa itself is really good. It has certain processes in your body it will activate that will make you feel good and relax. So you find people like to buy their spouse's chocolate. So it's a trick.
So that is where it comes.
It's a trick. It's a hack.
Thank you for reporting them. Does proper nutrition then affect relationships? Is there a relationship between, or is there a link between what we eat and how we relate with the people around us?
Most definitely. There is a very big link between what food you eat and how you relate with those around you. For example, if you find yourself increasingly irritable and restless, before you even think about what's stressing you, sometimes there's no reason. You can't even pinpoint it. Before you call out, whatever spirits could have caused it.
Yes.
First, think about, ideally, a deficiency in vitamin B. Vitamin B is known to help you feel less stressed, able to adapt to stressful situations, not to be so irritable. If you have people around you who you always just lashing out at them, maybe you just back at them or you want to quarrel and argue with them, first eat a meal. Before you just first eat food before you go for that serious, you want to get someone and, show them who's both or whatever the case is. The other thing is you find that if you're very hungry, you don't go into a negotiation because you most likely might not negotiate very properly. You might now begin to think whatever gets me to this room quickly will be the best thing. So you find that you will, first of all, relate poorly there in terms of giving away your power quickly because you are hungry. Yes? Another thing is that whenever you have a difficult discussion to have with somebody, first buy them food. To just relax them a bit, disarm them.
Yes.
So it really does affect the relationships you have. Another thing I'll mention is a very vital nutrient. This is magnesium. If you have low quantity of that, you will easily get these palpitations. You feel like your heart is racing, you're in trouble, you're anxious, anxiety and all that. So it's important to always eat a diet that is rich in such nutrients. Wholesome, the fruits, the veggies, the whole grains, real food, nuts, the seeds, such that you're able to relate properly with those people around you. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing. And I think, I don't want to preempt this, but I'm getting a sense that because when you mention things like how you negotiate, those are things that tackle leadership. So in one way or another, maybe you will tell us, it appears that there is a link between what we eat and how we lead, The next one should be people who diet are sad people. Is that true?
That's a trick question. It's a trick question because everybody who has someone around them thinks that dieting is miserable. I will explain. Dieting shouldn't be miserable. If your dieting is miserable, change your dietitian. Or at least see one.
And one is one like Ivan.
Yes. Ideally, dieting nowadays is synonymous with eating healthy food. You find that we have a mindset that thinks that anything healthy, eating healthy food is dieting. But there are ways you can eat food that will get you a particular result. We call that diet therapy, where you use food as medicine to give someone a desired outcome. For example, if someone has uncontrollable high blood sugar, maybe diabetes, you put them on diet therapy, say for 3 weeks or 6, and then you normalize their blood sugar levels. You get that? So that's dieting, may I understand. However, the public perception of dieting is I drink only water, I don't eat food. They have a perception of take only teas for maybe 6 days to lose 20 kgs.
Yes.
Some very irrational things.
Or I'm fasting and then I am measuring the carbs.
Those kind of things. So now, for proper dieting, it will have to have a variety of foods. Yes? A variety of nutrients in your meals. Plenty of fiber. That's what will make sure that your dieting is not miserable or sad. It becomes sad when people usually leave out many food groups. You find someone saying no carbs. They eat only something else throughout. They'll say, don't eat this, eat that. Yet in diet therapy, we have come to understand that moderation of some foods, plenty of other foods, and then you limit other foods. That creates a wholesome diet, which has even the treats you like. So you will enjoy your experience. You won't collapse on the road. You won't be sad as you go along. So that's what's important. So dieting is not sad, even though the perception widely is that it's sad. It's because the field of dietetics has been dominated a lot by unlicensed people who will just do whatever worked for them or what they saw on the internet. And then they do not factor in other factors like the mental health of the person who's going to follow that meal plan, their likes, their preferences, and what would make them happy. So you can actually strike a balance and a compromise if you have a trained dietitian helping you in your dieting.
Wow. Another question is, it does not matter what I eat As long as I'm not overweight. Does it matter what? I mean, I'm not overweight.
Yeah.
I'm not struggling. I'm fine. My clothes fit me well. So I'm good. Does it matter?
I will say that's 50-50. 50-50 because if you are fine, that's a good thing. Not so? Which means that what you're eating is not affecting you.
Yeah.
But the other 50% is that do you know how much better you could feel if you actually ate a recommended diet? Your measurements done. Get to know your numbers. See what your weight is. Are you within your healthy weight range? Is your cholesterol within the correct parameters? Visceral fat around the organs? Your metabolism, is it working properly? Those kind of things. So just to find out how much fat and blood pressure, is it fine? Your blood sugar, just to find out if you're doing well. So a checkup would be good for you to conclude that you're actually fine. However, unhealthy habits have been linked to certain consequences, whereby if every day you do a particular unhealthy thing, maybe you like to binge on junk food, but your size is fine, it won't be a matter of time if you get a stroke, God forbid. Yes? It's just highly linked with that risk. So these risk factors are not definite. Something correlation is not causation. It means that if something is correlated with something, it means that you'd want to lower your risks. It doesn't mean that if you take so much alcohol, you're going to just die. Some people have lived for much longer. Yes. However, it's risky, meaning that there are certain things you're exposed to. You might have other activities in your lifestyle you're not factoring in. You may be very physically active. You may be playing sports and you're always active, and therefore you have a higher demand of energy compared to your counterparts. You might find that your eating habits are different. Even though you eat lots of high energy dense foods, you don't eat them as frequently. Maybe you eat one meal a day. So there's no one size fits all. It's always tailored for each individual. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ivan. The last one would be, our grandparents thrived without exercise. I've not seen my grandfather saying, I'm going for a walk to exercise, or, I'm going to the gym. Why should I be going to the gym? I mean, I think that the sense or where this question is coming from, or this statement, is really that, is dieting and all these things to do with food, are they 21st century problems?
Well, there's been an evolution in our lifestyle. They've changed largely. Nowadays, because somebody is always, how do I put it? If you are a person who has a desk job, you work on your computer for over 8 hours a day. You will drive home afterwards.
Seated.
Yes, seated. Probably a tinted car. It's not the same as someone else, like our grandparents, who used to cultivate. They would dig, actually. So they never used to do exercise and they go for 10,000 steps a day, but they used to actually do 10,000 steps or more a day. They didn't have the luxury of using automotive vehicles, cars, or the border nowadays. So you find that they used to walk long distances. Those others used to actually rear animals. So you find that you have to run after them, tell them to go here, do that, or even carry some of those heavy things. They would walk carrying heavy equipment. That's already strength training. So the lifestyles have changed from being active to largely inactive because of the society that we're currently living in, or the economy we are living in. That's why it's now important that we preach exercises. Back then, it wasn't something you need to talk about because everybody did it without even thinking about it, because it was their lifestyle. So every time we look at it and say, our grandparents exercise, why should I do it? It's because your lifestyle is not the same as your grandparents.
Lifestyle.
The food you eat is not the same as the food they ate. Your grandma probably ate maize. For you even know how to meal, you don't know how to meal and remove the cover and just take your refined posho or ugali. Your grandparent never had cornflakes. Yes? I hope that's not a brand, but like that kind of thing.
Yes.
You eat food like substances, not even food. If you took some of your food you eat every day to your parents, your grandparents, they'd ask you, what's this? I won't mention the name of the snack, but there are things that have a lot of air in them, and they look a bit like, I don't know how to explain it, like some small yellowish things with different colors and spices. If you show that to your grandparents, they'll say, where is this tree grown? It's not something unknown. You get it? So those are the things that lead to changes in our lifestyle and our diet. So it's important for us to do even twice as much as they used to do.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that that would almost preempt a question: what does the future look like? Because we are right now in the present, and many of us did not prepare ourselves in terms of our thought patterns and our lifestyle for this change in society or this evolution that we are seeing. So just quickly, how do we prepare ourselves? What does the future look like in terms of our lifestyle, health-wise mostly, and how do we prepare ourselves, and especially our children? I never exercised a day in my life back then. Okay, these days a little, hardly. But I'm saying this because I know there are people that will police me and be like, but I don't really exercise. Yet the future and the future for my daughter will look different. She might be exactly what you've described. Working an 8 to 5, sitting in a car back home, using lifts, and she hardly has time to take a walk because there's so much demand both at home, both at work. Like basically there's so much going on. You just like walking is a luxury you can't afford. So how do we prepare them for that future to make sure there are things they have, there are things they know, there are things they practice beforehand, and sort of to mitigate those things before they happen, to mitigate certain health or risk factors before they even occur?
Okay. So the first thing is that monkey see, monkey do. It means that whatever you see your parents do, you will also do.
Yeah.
Our children usually mimic what we do. If your parent always jogs, you'll also end up jogging. Yes?
It's a note for me to start joking.
If your parent always eats and eats and eats and eats, the child will do the same.
Yeah.
So the first thing is for the parents to change their lifestyles to the one that they want to model their children after.
Yes.
Yes, that's the first thing. Second thing is that you need to teach them while they're still young. When you train up a child the way they should go, they'll stick to that path. You'll find that you said your grandparents always exercise, but I'm very sure the diet they had was very healthy. Yes? You said you haven't exercised a day in your life as much, but I know that you most likely do the same chores they used to do. Maybe you cook, maybe you clean, maybe you tidy up. So those are all physical activity. People always think exercise is about maybe go and jog and run and do a treadmill, carry some weights. It can just be physical activity.
Yes.
Things you do physically. You could have a big house where you walk from point A to point B to keep picking up things. The kitchen is far. And you have to walk so it helps. Physical activity in that area. To help our children, you'd introduce them to these healthy foods earlier. A young child won't even know that these baby vegetables are bitter. They might even like them. A child below 3 years won't say this thing is bitter. They'll even be liking it so much. I've seen children who love vegetables so much because their parents raised them, showing them these are actually snacks. Cucumber and carrot slices are snacks. Not sausages, salami, ham, what. So it's about what you train them up on when they're still young. That's what's important. What it looks like in the future, I would say, nowadays, because of the pollution you have around, the low physical activity, people moving tinted cars, the need for supplementation. That's what it looks like. You find that people may not get what they require for their daily lifestyle from their food only. They might need supplement. Supplementation of course, you can't do a blanket supplementation. You maybe consult a professional to find out which one, but it's gearing to that direction a little bit. People who will talk about healthy eating will be radical. They think you're a person who's run mad. You're trying to make people's lives difficult because you are explaining things that people have not grown up doing. Organic food may become more expensive. So please eat while you still can. Maybe do some backyard gardening. And then maybe self-cultivate. You don't have to always buy your food. You could try to cook your own food, maybe buy your own food, and also try to rear some animals where possible. To be good, because you do not know what is put into your food system.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll leave it at that.
Now we delve into the discussion on specifically leadership and food, or diet and health. Does what we eat and how we eat affect how we lead or how successful we are as leaders or the quality of leaders we are?
Interesting. It's a very interesting question. Reason being, there are many other confounding factors to leadership. But I will speak about it from the dietetic's point of view. Yes? What you eat can actually affect how you lead. For starters, if the food you eat makes you very unproductive, you'll become that boss who everyone is saying is very unhelpful. You're always lazy, you want to do stuff because you're always tired. Secondly, you could become the one who is unapproachable because you will say something, do something small to you and just back at them because you have a low vitamin B. Yeah. There are also challenges, memory. There is always that leader who's always forgetting things. They always say, I said, but they didn't say it. So it does affect how you lead, the things you eat. For example, if you're eating a diet low in omega-3 fatty acids, usually found in fish, you'd forget a lot of things. Worse still, you could become the absent leader. The one who's always sick. You're always sick. Gosh, okay, this is really a very sensitive part to talk about. But sometimes it's a shame that your health can catch up with you. How you eat. Maybe you are always hospitalized, always sick, always taking medicine. Sometimes just because of the way you're eating. So it does affect the way you lead. The biggest things that really affect us would be the mood, you know? The leader is literally the one who gives the vibration to the team. Yeah? If you're high frequency vibration, everybody else catches it. If you're always low, we call it low mood fever. Someone is just low. There's no reason why they're low. There's nothing bad that happened, but they don't have the energy to kick the goals and kick start and push the team just because maybe they had a high carbohydrate meal before lunch. So it's critical that you eat healthy and well. It will improve how you lead because you'll be able to make decisions easily. You'll be able to think properly. You will be alert. You won't accuse your team of remembering things which you did not say, and you'll be the productive person. That's what I'll say, literally.
So what does the lifestyle of a productive leader look like vis-a-vis a counter-productive leader?
Okay. In terms of the lifestyle is a bit broad. So besides the food, they'll have to be physically active. Ideally. The reason why I say that's important, sometimes there are certain things that we mirror on our team. A person who's disciplined usually will be someone who's physically active. It's very easy to find someone who's not disciplined by looking at how they manage their own body. It's very easy to tell. I'll give a short story. There's a client who once came to me and he said something to me that touched my heart. Because they said that they had a gig, I think it was an NCing gig. And unfortunately, the person who saw them was not impressed by the belly they had. They said the belly was a reflection of poor discipline.
Wow.
And then time management, financial management, and much more. So it means that you're not able to control what you eat, when you eat, or how you eat. So it reflects poorly on you, for starters. The second thing would be that when you are, let me give you an example of a productive leader. You exercise on time, regularly. It's a habit. If there's a healthy habit, that habit will be mirrored by your team. Because you do such habits, you find that your team will pick up the same habits. If someone on your team needs to exercise, you will also understand that they need to exercise. You will not be saying, we don't have time for those things. We have to work and do everything, all those kind of things, because you don't even understand that it's good for health and well-being. A productive leader will also, first of all, put their team's wellness into factor. You don't want to burn out your staff. So you're focused, you're concentrating properly because you exercise. Exercising is something I want to emphasize a lot because it helps with stress management. It helps you feel good and calm, helps with your heart health and much more. Secondly, you would have to eat a healthy diet, a diet rich in nutrients, whereby you feed your hidden hunger. Hidden hunger is whereby you'll eat food and you feel satisfied. Most likely even have a distended belly. but then you lack the important micronutrients, the vitamin Bs, the magnesium, the choline, and many others that are used for producing these neurotransmitters, omega-3 fatty acids, and much more, which are good for memory, cognition, and more. The other thing that a person who is a productive leader, you would have to at least have some sleep, at least sufficiently.
Yes.
You don't have to be working with your eye bags. Would you looking like you're really, that's a toxic workout. The other bit I would say, hydrate, drink some water. You have to drink water to be able to be relaxed and calm. Water is a natural antihistamine. That's whereby it helps you to calm down. Just a cold glass of water. You've seen people in very difficult grillings. They're grilling you. There's too much pressure. They can't. It just helps you calm down. It does it, naturally speaking. So that's how it would look like. Productive. The unproductive leader will be one who doesn't sleep at all. Always, let's say, dozing in meetings. The one who's maybe always out of office because of health reasons.
Yes.
You'd be one who is always irritable. Just irritable, like for no reason. Someone asks you a question or cracks a joke and you feel like it's an attack on you.
Yes.
There are other things that we don't talk about, like insecurities. It would make you insecure if you're not comfortable with your body type or your physical state. So before you even think about losing weight or gaining weight, first be comfortable with how you currently look like or feel. It's very key. So the unproductive leader would have lots of fast foods, will have no physical activity whatsoever. They'll be always irritable, and then they will be trying to put others down. Usually happens when you're insecure. You'd want to put other people down. You want to make them feel bad. Crack unfunny jokes. Unfunny jokes because it's subjective.
Yes.
That's what I would say in the two of them. So no physical activity, lack of sleep, poor eating habits, and not recognizing that your team also requires to rest and also requires to be mentally well and fit to work. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm now picturing someone in the audience who is pointing or looking at themselves like, they're talking about me. I'm that counterproductive leader. What should my next step be? Because I've now come to the realization that how I lead is affected by what I eat and my lifestyle. So now I want to change that. But what do I do? What should my next step be, or what should my next steps be from you as a dietitian?
Right. The first thing I'll say is start small. First, start where you are. It can be as simple as taking 2 glasses. For starters, maybe say in the morning. Just start there. Don't try to immediately now cut everything out and then say, I want to change. Sometimes you will bounce back. So for behavior change, start with that. Second thing I'll say is start with one habit. Let's say if you want eating enough fruits, include more of them in your diet.
Yes.
If you want having vegetables at meals, have your plate 50% vegetables. If you are eating a lot of junk food, a lot of processed drinks, maybe energy drinks that causes crashes, begin to reduce. If you used to take maybe say 5 energy drinks, reduce to 1. Just gradually, or to 2. The other thing is in terms of your, how do you put it, supplement. Start where you are. If you find that you already have some of the symptoms, maybe you're already irritable, you're already groggy, you already have high cholesterol, or you just try to supplement with the guidance of a professional. Look for expert advice. Yes? Find a dietitian, find a healthcare professional to actually evaluate your health, see where you're starting from, and then get to at least where you can get to. Set realistic goals together. Because some people would say, I want to lose 20 kgs in 1 week. It's not realistic, it's not healthy. So you start step by step, like a long-term plan, and you'll arrive there. The last thing I would say is that don't be so hard on yourself. Many of us haven't really always been very fine or healthy, and there's always room for you to get better. Don't be so hard, don't judge yourself too hard. Just recognize that something is required, get the necessary information, and then begin to implement slowly.
Now, I have, or we're imagining for the people in the audience who now want to take that next step and are saying, you are the expert that I want to see. And the reason I'm really emphasizing this is because many times the help that you seek, you can only get it when you meet with someone personally, someone who understands your context, your challenges, who you are, like you mentioned, what makes you happy, so that they don't take this as general expert information. They're able to sit down with you and share what they're facing, the challenges they're facing, and then you're able to share based on their context, who they are, what works for them, how they can grow from counterproductive to more productive.
All right. How can they do that? Firstly, they could reach out to us via social media at the Amicable Nutritionist. We're on all social media, whether X, at X is at Tank Wellness, Instagram, LinkedIn, and others. You'd find that it's at the Amicable Nutritionist. That's for starters. We have a website online, which is www.amicablenutritionist.com.
Okay.
Through there, you can even book an appointment. Or you can just call us directly or WhatsApp us. That's +256 709 772 662. That would be the best way. So from there, we can set up an appointment and we can have a discussion. Yes. No, it can be online, can be physical, depending on where you are. Either you're in the country or out of the country. We have your measurements done. We get to know where you're starting from, set realistic goals. And for example, if your goal is weight management, you can lose about 15 kgs in 6 weeks. You can lose up to 25 in 3 months. That's 12 weeks. You can you can manage your blood sugar levels better within 3 weeks. For high blood pressure, it might take a bit longer, maybe say 2 months. But those are all things that could affect your productivity. For your concentration, you could even just do a quick detoxification. It can be done in about 7 days. You could feel a bit lighter. That's what I can say. Maybe for starters, they can start there. We're located in Bukoto. That's on Moyo Close, plot 2058. On Google Maps, you can just search for the Amicable Nutritionist. So it's easy to find us there, maybe between the Bukoto Heights apartments and the Kampala International School, Uganda. And just slope at Chisule Nursery School. 4 gets down, you'll find the Amicable Nutritionist.
Thank you so much, Ivan. We'll be sure to link all that information in the description. And for you that is watching this and wants to take the next step, please reach out to Ivan through the contacts that we'll share. We would love to hear from you.
Yes.
What have been your highlights from this conversation on nutrition and leadership? What have you learned? What have you experienced? And what do you think you want to do better going forward?